So, Margaret, you're just back from all these travels with the Secretary of State. You were in Switzerland. What is the latest on these talks? Are we getting close to a deal or not close to a deal? What's the deal?
These negotiators have spent nearly 2 years getting to this point, so I think many of them want to cross that finish line on March 31st with the deal in hand. President Rouhani of Iran tweeted something to that effect in the past few days, but at the same time, you're getting these sort of mixed messages. Some criticism from those at the table negotiating alongside the U.S., the French ambassador out saying essentially the U.S. may be rushing towards this March 31st deadline. You also had the supreme leader of Iran, the man who really runs that country, making some belligerent comments in the past 48 hours. So it's really not clear. But what we know is the people at the table are making real progress, and we may be able to close something by next, end of next week.
What's your take of this, Peggy? Do you see that? We saw those 47 Republicans that wrote that unprecedented letter, really, to the Iranian leader saying, be wary of any deal with the Obama administration.
Yes.
I'm not sure I know how to judge what the impact of that was on the negotiations. But if there is a deal, will Republicans, is it your sense that they will go along in the Congress, or are they just totally against it?
I had a feeling Bob Corker today reflected a lot of the Republican viewpoint, which is simply a reasonable. Corker did not sign the letter signed by the 47, which I think was yet another one of those not helpful moments, that has marked the entire process, but has marked our entire Mideast engagement in the past few years. I think Corker is saying, look, trying to get a deal is a good thing. Let's make sure it is a good deal, and please, Mr. President, treat the U.S. Congress, the Senate especially, with respect. Show us what you've got at the end. Bring us in for, quote, advise and consent. I know that's not quite the phrase, but treat us with respect. Don't do something like go straight to the UN and just get them to sign off on it. But I think Corker's was essentially saying, good, go forward, have talks, try to do something good. We'll try to help you make it gooder.
I think Republicans have concerns not just about the nuclear deal, but about this rapprochement, broader rapprochement with Iran against Sunni extremism in the region, and a realization that that's presenting problems. You now have Iranian proxies and militias all the way from Beirut to Baghdad having tremendous influence in essentially the vacuum of American influence in many places. And so I think that undergirds a lot of this criticism here. And it makes countries like Israel and our Arab allies fearful that there's a shift going on, a rebalancing going on by the administration as it concerns Iran more broadly.
What happens if there is not a deal now?
Well,
will people in the administration even talk about that? Will they?
The possibility of the Iran talks failing,
yes.
Or just sort of going
away.
Continuing to talk. I thought it was interesting that Senator Corker told you that what they call the JPOA, the Joint Plan of Action, could just sort of continue and stay in place, which the administration would say has successfully frozen Iran's program, they would say, for the duration of time they're at the table. But there's so many unknowable factors here, including how back in Tehran that would be perceived. As I said, the supreme leader's messages are very blustery. President Rouhani wants to, have these negotiations go forward. Who wins out if this nearly 2-year process is rewarded with just nothing, sort of more of the same? It's not clear yet.